The following podcast is brought to you by the Jonas Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjonas.com. Hello and welcome to another live Wrestling with Jonas, part of the Jonas Podcasting Network. I've got another fantastic guest with us this week, all the way from Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, Axel RRRRRICO. How are you doing, buddy?
How's it going, man? It's great to be here. Sorry I'm in my car and all that. Just the building for the next show and just horrible service. But you know what? I had to get to the people. I had to talk to you. So I moved to my car where I have some AC and I'm just rocking it out. Let's do it.
Absolutely. No, it's got to be done. And like I say, we're live across Twitch, live across YouTube and Facebook over here from the UK. Have you done a UK-based podcast before, Axel?
No, I did.
It's the first.
I did something with Savio Vega and he was in Puerto Rico, but I've never touched the UK. So let's start it off with a bang today, my friend.
Absolutely. So just for anybody watching at the moment, over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to be digging deep into Axel RRRRICO's career, how he got into the business, bringing us right up to date. I know that Axel's got a very, very busy weekend in store, and we're going to be touching on that very soon. But if anybody at home watching us live wants to send in any questions for Axel, get in touch. We'll read out your questions, and we'll try our best to get your questions answered live on Wrestling with Jonas today. But Axel, first of all, as I said, at the moment, you're probably the busiest man in the business, the busiest man in the world of pro wrestling. Let's just break this down. So last night you was at CSW Chicago Style Wrestling. Tonight you're going to be at AAW Pro, also in Chicago. Then tomorrow, I think I've got this right, Galia Lucha. So a hell of a weekend, my friend, a hell of a weekend. You mentioned the Savio Vega interview, which we'll touch on as well. But what's it like to be the busiest man in pro wrestling?
It's pretty cool. Couple of friends that are doing the same kind of show, so we're just all hanging out with each other, and so far we don't hate each other yet, because I always believe, like, to keep myself busy, I don't like to just sit in a room by myself. So the fact that I'm always moving, going from here, going to my car, going here, going to, talking to you guys, it's fun, and it's the kind of work I want to keep doing for the rest of my life until these legs just don't work, and who knows, I'll probably be doing this in a wheelchair. Well,
it's the grind, isn't it? It's what all wrestlers, they strive to do, and this is what they live for, is the grind. Every weekend, as many bookings as they can possibly get their hands on. But it must feel good, because there must have been a period, certainly last year, where it was very quiet for you. I know that American, US wrestling promotions, they opened up their doors a lot sooner than the UK business have. In fact, the UK wrestling business is still closed down, with the exception of some behind closed doors, no fans promotions. But it must have been quite frustrating to be sitting at home and not going through the grind that you are experiencing this weekend.
Yeah, no, I know, because before, while also doing wrestling, I used to do improv and theater in the city. So, like, I was always doing stuff on the weekends, and just to have 2, 3, and then what turned into 4, sometimes even like 3 weekends worth just doing nothing for other people, like entertainment wise, it killed me. So I had to step up my social media game. I had to find wrestlers that I liked and just kind of mess with them and see if, just to interact with the crowd and audience and in all types of platforms was, just striving to do something, that it killed me. But it's something, it's something that no one, it was the world exploded, but we're here and we're back to normal. And I'm very, very happy about it. And all that patience is finally good. And we're finally doing shows for a good amount of people and crowds, and like here being able to do more Twitch and streams and all that stuff. It's really awesome to get back to almost normal now.
Yeah. Well, speaking of performing in front of the people, getting back to normality, you had a sold-out show last night in Chicago Style Wrestling, and it was their latest show with a vengeance, or was it Axel RRRRRICO with a vengeance? Because I know that it very nearly got rebranded. But give us your experience of last night's show, because You wasn't originally booked to be on the card, but then I understand that something quite extraordinary happened and you did have a match. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I don't know what on earth happened. Just whoever's in charge of the Facebook page, they were like, you know what, with a vengeance, it sounds like it's the middle of a sentence. I don't know, someone just put a couple pictures together, and then they thought Axel RRRRICO with pretty good. And so yeah, we started out the show a 4-way elimination scramble match, and I ended up winning that. And we really started the show off right. As the doors opened up, we had a little futures battle royal with a lot of the trainees and all that stuff, and then we started the show off right. And ever since that little intro and our match, we really had the place living it, because once we started having those CSW shows back, you could tell the people wanted to see wrestling. So the second we're out there and doing what we do best and just dancing or hitting each other, the crowd was there. And Axel RRRRICO usually is a good start to any type of show. And it was a lot of fun to be there and finally be able to just, that crowd's great. I love CSW. I love that homegrown crowd so much, and I will be there at as many shows as I can.
Absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, the match that you won, the Scramble match, was it for a #1 contenders place for a CSW championship?
It was a great show. I think so.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of all the finer details, but if anybody is a #1 contender for the.
Well, I was told by the authority figure himself.
I think I'm the person. So unless and kind of go for it, but right now, I hope for the next show it's good. Okay, good.
Absolutely. Well, with Steve Aarons, so the general manager.
Because it was a very hard fought match. Went against one of my fellow trainees, Mario Pardua, who slammed. He's a great guy. Oh my God, I forgot. We finally became friends after a year-long feud with me and him.
Exactly. Now he's the general manager of CSW.
I love that guy. He was giving us our introductions while doing a job in that big suit of his. I don't know how on earth he does it, but I love that guy so much. Yeah, no,
Axel, carry on.
After last night, I kind of saved his butt. So I'm always ready. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning to train myself, train my body, and so I'm putting in the work. And if there is a time, I'm ready for whatever, especially at CSW. If I get a shot at any title, I'm gonna take it. If I win the gold, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing and be there for the people.
Absolutely. And let's talk about your wrestling fandom then, Axel. So have you always been a wrestling fan? Did you become a fan from an early age? Was it through friends or family members? Tell us about your love for pro wrestling.
Absolutely. So I was born in Puerto Rico, Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. And one of my uncles had a friend who was actually a wrestler in Puerto Rico. His name was Kuka Man. He just wore a mask and he did a lot of lucha libre. And every time we would go to his apartment, he would always have VHS tapes, DVDs of WCW, old-fashioned WWE shows, and he gave me a VHS tape of a Halloween Havoc for WCW. And the first match on there when I put it in the VHS was Eddie Guerrero. Ever since I watched that little VHS tape just as a little boy. And then when I moved to Texas for a little bit with my family, then came to Illinois. And right after I turned 22 years old, I started to get into the wrestling scene in 2017.
Yeah, and so who did you train
Eddie
with?
Guerrero is definitely the person that first piqued my interest in wanting to be a wrestler.
That's awesome. And who did you start your training with then?
When I first came in at 2017. I went to I lived in, very close to the city, and I found started with Chicago style wrestling with Steve Boz. Was training with him, his other trainer Doug Simmons, and then eventually after about a year there, I kind of flip-flopped, and they helped me learn more lucha libre and opening my mind into other different styles of wrestling that aren't just American style, Chicago style, and actually, basing for lucha flippy stuff, doing flippy stuff myself. And I'm very happy to be able to be around two very good learning schools to learn different styles in wrestling, and has helped me wrestle all likes of people and all different types of people that I've encountered in my wrestling career now.
What would you consider to be the hardest part of breaking into the business? I know you're a few years in now, but what do you think is the hardest part of breaking into the business, and maybe even the trying to get some momentum as you're learning the business a few years in?
I think when it came to breaking into the business, because I've been very successful after quarantine, because a lot of people reached out to me. And I was so, just like what we said before, I was so ready for, just to go out there and just give people a show, even if it was 10 people, 5 people. So I was just ready. And that's what I think helped me in the long run, because I was honed. That really opened my eyes to, what I wasn't doing before, which was the big thing that was a struggle with me, was always thinking am I ready for the main eventers of this promote, over the fact of that, and thinking, what, I've been training for 4 years. I've been doing different styles to finally set myself up to go against, bigger names. And I think finally, once that just clicked in my head, that it's really just working with the people and putting on a good show, no matter who it was, that what really helped me click. And ever since then, it's been awesome to share locker with people in Impact Wrestling and AEW, going to Florida and meeting so many great people and learning and working with them and seeing the little things that I can help with. I still gotta you just gotta grapple them and keep going.
My next question for you, Axel, is about the independent wrestling scene in Chicago and around the wider Chicago area. It's a very vibrant area. Chicago has always been considered one of the capitals of the wrestling world, but on an independent level, it's really catching fire lately.
I went to Florida during Mania weekend, and that was, you could really see that was the capital of wrestling here in the U.S. But I want to say that there's a fight for the title of second place. Triple weekends now. I've been asked to do other shows, but it's I can't, because I got to either do Galley Lucha or CSW or AAW, and I have to, my schedule is packed. I feel like an absolute celebrity having just a filled schedule. I love it so much. The scene is so cool. I love sharing locker rooms with people that are on TV right now, and just since for 10 years now, and it's just super awesome to see good people every single weekend, every single month. And that's why I love Chicago so much, because now, especially now, we're getting good weather, and I get to see all these awesome people. So no regrets, and I love Chicago, and I want to say it's probably number 2 in the wrestling world for the capital right now. I don't know about the UK, though.
Yeah,
I'd love
absolutely.
to go over and see what's that all about.
We'd love to have you over here in the UK, and I think that the reception in the lag has actually got better. So it's great to be able to have a proper conversation. But let's talk about Eddie Guerrero, because Eddie Guerrero is a massive wrestling hero of yours, isn't he? A massive influence on you, and some of your wrestling moves as well. You do demonstrate a pretty mean frog splash from the top rope. Tell us about your kind of love for Eddie Guerrero and why he was such a massive influence on you and your career so far then, Axel.
So when I Oh man, where do I even start? I think out of all the wrestlers in the world, I've done the most, just watching, trying to find all of his stuff, just seeing all the little things, his interviews I've seen all of his matches in like Ring of Honor during the day, he's just one of the only wrestlers I've just wanted to just get all the deep dives, all the little facts about, and just something about him just being able to go to any promotion and do whatever they needed and still knock it out of the park. Like, if that isn't your idol, like, I don't know what, I don't know who else, because that man could do it all. He could be the king of the mountain. He could help. He can make the whole crowd laugh. He can make the crowd boo him. He can make the crowd, cry. And of course, get like the best match on the night. So like, if I don't know, I don't see any other idol in my eyes except for him. And, I remember as a kid, like I wanted it every time they were in Chicago, like WWE, I would want to go, but my mom hated, wrestling. She would just throw up in somebody just like hitting each other. So I was never able to see him live. And that's one of my biggest regrets. Never actually being able to see him wrestle live, but he is really my idol. Just his moveset alone, that he could wrestle absolutely anybody, is who I strive to be, or at least be as close to and as similar as him as I possibly can. Because that guy, oh man, that is one beautiful human being that is, sadly passed away in this world.
Indeed. Well, now that we've got a better conversation going, the lag has gone, I can kind of feel like I can ask you about your Puerto Rican heritage, Axel, because Puerto Rico is given us so many amazing wrestlers and characters over the years, from the Colon family, Savio Vega, who you spoke to last night. We'll get onto that very, very soon. And yourself, you're carrying on the Puerto Rican legacy. But tell us what your Puerto Rican legacy means to you and how you're building that into your wrestling persona.
Well, I think the first thing that anybody's going to tell you, when I'm in my wrestling attire, I at least have 1 to 4 flags on my body. So it's pretty much, at a bunch of lucha shows, they always say, you got to wear it on your body and you got to show it right here. So I always think, when I step through the curtain, I have my whole family. I have all the island backing me up no matter what I do. And there's just something about it. My real name is Axel, and I wanted to make sure that my heritage and my people were with my name too. So, Axel RRRRICO sounds dope, and it is dope. So that is my heritage. It's on my body always. It's in my blood. And of course, it's in my name. So that is where the heritage and the love for Puerto Rico starts and ends, and it's not going anywhere when it comes to this wrestling business. Puerto Rico is going to be following. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned there Savio Vega, a hero of mine from the 90s. I was there when he was in WWF feuding with Steve Austin. You obviously had the opportunity to interview the legend last night. So tell us about that experience. And did you get any knowledge from Savio about how to progress your career?
I was able to chat with him for about, a little bit because I had to go back to CSW. I felt really honored to be on that podcast, just to be with somebody that is, come from where I come from, and has been so as successful as he was during the time. And just him telling me, I love that you're traveling, like you want to travel. The bug is still in you to want to keep doing, all these shows and learn different styles. He just gave me the thumbs up, and he told me don't stop. And just hearing that from somebody, as the name is Savio Vega, with so much experience, and he's still freaking out there, it really opened my eyes and was like, you know what? I guess if all these people are telling me to keep doing this and you're doing great, of course I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm going to keep, doing what I do best. And I can't wait to meet this guy at the next WOW T show that I'm going to be doing very soon.
That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. And speaking of legends, another future legend, I suppose many could consider him a current modern day legend, but Matt Sydal. Now, you was on Jonas' podcast, weren't you? Rewind, Recap, Relive, and Jonas, a good friend of ours over on Wrestling with Jonas. And the concept of this podcast is to have an experienced pro and an up-and-comer to share stories and to give advice. What was that experience like of being on that podcast with Jonas and of course with Matt Sydal? And what do you think you learned most from being on the same show as the incredible Matt Sydal?
That was one awesome freaking interview, man. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to Jonas, I think a month or a couple weeks before that interview. And I messaged him like, hey, I love your work. This is so cool, because a lot of our CSW people had already done a show with him. And I was like, hey man, if you need anything, you know, like, hi, I'm Axel. And he was like, oh, I was actually about to reach you. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. And originally I was supposed to talk with Hector Guerrero. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. You know, WCW legend Hector Guerrero. But then all of a sudden he couldn't make it. And I was like, oh, darn it. You know, I hope I get somebody that I know. And he's like, hey, do you want to do an interview with current AEW star, you know, Matt Sydal? I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Absolutely. Like the guy that has one of the coolest, you know, flippy dippy moves in the world. And when we talked, I was making him die laughing, and I just learned so much from him, because it was one of those things that obviously Jonas wanted to, you know, talk to him about his career and all that stuff, but we were pretty much having a conversation, because during that time, that was right in the thick of the quarantine and figuring out what to do during the shows, and we were both bouncing each, you know, he was asking me, what do you do with the, you know, with the crowd that you have or the crowd that you don't even have? And, you know, I was telling him I was using cameraman and all that stuff. And he was so nice and so easy to talk to. Like, he was still saying, like, you know, I'm a WWE legend, but like, all I want to do is maybe work with somebody like Axel RRRRICO. When he said that, I just, you know, I kind of was like, oh, don't go crazy. Don't go fangirling right now, because I would love to work somebody like that. And the fact that even somebody as popular and still, you know, knocking it out of the park would say something like, you know what, I'm very happy that you have a line that says, you know, Victoria's Secret, and you know what, come over, train with me, and like, maybe we can do something one day. Like, it meant a lot. And I learned so much from Matt and Jonah, and I was very happy to do that. And I told Jonah, I'm like, hey man, let me know when you want to do another one. I will talk to anybody you want. And I was very happy to talk to Matt Sydal and do that. And now here, now talking to you, man, it's so awesome and so dope. I'm trying to make dope a thing. So
it needs to go on a t-shirt, Axel. It needs to go on a t-shirt. But I want to talk about you and your faction now, because it's a Puerto Rican faction. Now, you might need to help me out with the name of the faction. It's La Sociedad Boricua. Is that right?
Hey, I will say a lot of people butcher it. Very good.
Not too bad with Rica de la Vega and I think Chuchu. But tell us about your faction. Tell us about La Sociedad Boricua and how it all got together, because you're actually going to be with them tonight at AAW Pro and tomorrow at Galia Lucha, I understand. But what can we expect from you guys over the weekend? Are you going to be stirring up mischief and trouble for the audience and for the wrestlers in attendance?
Well, I don't want to give too many things away, but I'll start with how we first started. I know we were doing an outdoor show in around, I think it was September over here in Illinois, and it was one of the first shows that we were allowed at least 50 people. And, you know, the second I was asked to do it, I was like, absolutely. And we did our normal show. I met Rico de la Vega, and I met a great guy named Ricky Cruz, who's become an awesome person to look up to. And he's been doing the lucha scene here, Illinois, everywhere. And he's big in Puerto Rico. He's one of the biggest people that has worked with Super Crazy. He trained with Super Crazy, and I've learned so much with, and he got us all together. He was like, you know what, there's nothing better than a whole ring full of Puerto Rican, you know, amazing talent. And when he saw us together, he saw our work, he saw Rico's work and my work. He's like, you know what, there's something here. And then we started working together. We helped him get a title that he is well deserved. He lost it last night, but you know what? We're still in it. And me and Rico have become absolute best friends now, to the point where, we're thinking about traveling together. We're thinking about going around the U.S. to show everyone what La Sociedad Boricua is. We've added new friends like Chuco, Jesus. Jesus, I hope he heals up and comes back, because the thing about La Sociedad Boricua, all Puerto Ricans, we treat like gatherings like Thanksgiving. We want more. We want more people, more friends, because the more minds in for the wrestling and how to win and how to make a good show is like the better. And now we are in full effect. Tonight, me and Rico, we're just we're on the flyer, but we don't have much to do, so we're on it, twiddle our thumbs, do nothing. We're not going to interrupt anything. We're just going to be there in attendance and just be great fans. And tomorrow night at Galley, our friend Ricky Cruz has a ladder match. Let him have fun with that. And then the rest of us, we're going to just beat up some very talented friends, and it's going to be loads of fun. But La Sociedad Boricua is awesome. We got the shirts in. They look gorgeous as all hell. And you know what? I think we might not move away from Illinois and might be going elsewhere and be coming back here and going around the U.S. and hopefully maybe pay a visit to you.
That would be awesome. And that sounds like a stable, that's a faction and a group that's going to stick together and do some amazing things around Illinois and who knows, further afield. But I think I'm right in saying, Axel, that one of your best friends in the business is Skye Blue, another Chicago-based young talent who's having a real breakout year in 2021, isn't she? Firstly, you must be super proud of Skye. Seeing her perform on AEW Dark, she's had some matches there, I think, against Abaddon and Britt Baker, and then being signed to NWA Power, of course. It must be very inspiring for you to, as a competitor, as a wrestler, to see somebody that you know very well have such great success, and obviously it's a great journey that you might want to emulate down the road.
No, absolutely. That girl, we've been training together for over 2 years now. I see her as a sister, and a lot of people are jealous of her. I just want to support the hell out of her. She supports the hell out of me, and I love what she's doing, because the thing is, that girl works her ass off. We train every Tuesday, every Thursday, sometimes Saturday, Sunday. If she doesn't have a show, she's either training, hanging out, or trying to help people with their gear. Like, this girl is all wrestling, and I know she's gonna make it one day. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I know, like, the girl wants it, and I'm so happy to be as close as I am with her. Like, last night we were hanging out till like 2 a.m. just talking, chatting, and literally this whole weekend we had the show yesterday. We're going to AAW today, and who knows, maybe she'll be part of Galley Lucha. Like, this girl, I'm happy to be in any part of show that she is, because she's going to tear the house down and just be an awesome talent. And I know, and I can't wait to continue supporting her wherever we land next. The future is huge for her, and who knows what's going to happen with us. But I just know that girl is my sister. That girl is she's my sister from another mother. And I can't wait to support the hell out of her, no matter where she goes.
Oh, 100%. She's got a very, very amazing future, just like your own, Axel. But let me ask you very quickly about future plans and goals for yourself. You've mentioned that you've wrestled a bit in Florida, but you're mostly based around Illinois, around Chicago and the Chicagoland area. What plans or goals do you have in terms of branching out, expanding, wrestling in different parts of the US or possibly abroad? Are there any countries or any states that you'd like to wrestle in as we head through 2021, maybe into 2022?
Right now I got my calendar booked a lot in Chicago, obviously, but I'm keeping a lot of open dates, because right now the plan is, I don't want to put anything out there. There's a lot of promotions reaching out. I'm a big fan of CCW with JB and all the friends there. They're connecting with so many different places and countries. But the thing is, I'm ready for them all. Me and Rico are putting out our tag team and our group to different promotions. And a lot of people right now, we're throwing the fishing line, and we do have a lot of bites. But I'm just, keeping it down. But the one thing that I do want to do, I wanna get out of here. I'd love to come to Europe. I definitely know I got to get Puerto Rico off my bucket list because obviously I got to wrestle in Puerto Rico. Florida,
it's got to happen.
I've wrestled in Indiana, Wisconsin. I would love to come back to good promotions over there. Missouri, I can't wait to join there. Our friend Ricky Cruz has got a lot of good friends there, and they need some Puerto Rican spice and flavor, so I can't wait to go there for sure. But right now, I don't want to say too many things and give away because I want people to go there. You know what I mean? But Axel RRRRICO is going to be in Chicago, but I think he's going to be part of many different states and hopefully get out to some waters in the future, out of here, into
Well, as you said earlier, Axel, you over the last year or so, your name has really got out there, and like I say, there's more people that are finding out about you in different countries and across America, of course. Hopefully, this podcast will help to spread a little bit of Axel RRRRICO over here in the UK. But if you've got one message for your fans, or even people that may have only come across you recently or via this podcast, if you've got one message for the people out there that, from Axel RRRRICO from the heart, what would you like to tell them?
Well, to anybody watching this, like, if you're a wrestling fan, you're a friend of mine. I have lots of people that come to my shows and, they ask me like, oh, can I get a picture? Oh, and I loved your video on wrestling with unicorns. It was so cool to see you. I'm like, please don't be afraid to message me. But don't be afraid to come up to me. Like, I am one of the most social bees. Not a lot of people like me after a wrestling show or whatever I just did and all that stuff, but I am very, very approachable. Like, just come up to me, say hi. I love meeting new people. I've been doing theater my whole life. Like, I know some fans, I love to play rock, paper, scissors, and if you beat me, I give you a t-shirt. Come on up. If you know the bit, come up to me and say, on shoot, right, Axel? And we'll play rock, paper, scissors, and I'll give you something. But other than that, man, I just love if you are a wrestling fan, you are a friend of mine, because like the fact that this business is so crazy and it has such a great gathering of people, like that's all I care about. I want to be around those people. I want to tell me who your favorite wrestler is. Tell me how, you hate me, how you love me. Like, let's just talk. I have a lot of people putting me on their stories now, and it's so cool. Like, I'll forward it. I'll show me your stuff. I have some people drawing me in pictures. I'm like, what the heck, man? Just send it to me. Cool. I'll show the world. It's so freaking cool because, all these fans have different hobbies and all that stuff. I want to show the world what you do. I want to show what the world I do. So let's just be friends and let's connect and show the world each other.
Yeah, and Axel, from everything I've learned about you in my research, and I think I saw the match that you had for Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, their Grapple Masters from last year. That was absolutely fantastic, and you took the Legion of Doom's finisher, didn't you? That was awesome, and that must have been terrifying at the same time. But that was a Youth Gone Wild, wasn't it, that put you through that move? Youth Gone Wild at Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, a hell of a move to take to close that match. But was you a little bit nervous about taking that spot?
I don't think I was nervous. I think the only thing I was thinking in my head, because I had done backflips and all that thing before, but I remember I was up there and I didn't know, because I saw in front of me 5 feet away that there was a fan, like literally a moving fan where the fans were. I'm like, oh my God, is there a fan behind my head? Like, that's the only thing I was thinking of. Like, I hope I don't hit the fan and break it and then just like and then all of a sudden have to get a clothesline over. But I remember that was a great show because that was actually my birthday weekend. And
wow,
it was awesome to work against two guys that wanted to give some love to the Legion of Doom, because they both had passed away time, and it was great to be a part of that because it was so cool, and it felt like you know what, let's do it for them, let's do it for all the OG fans of WWE, and watching some big guys hit each other. It was a lot of fun to take that move, and that show and that crowd was fan-freaking-tastic, and it was so cool because I could finally say, I wrestled on Amazon Prime TV. All in all, that show was awesome. I love JB. Steve Arent was there commentating, making me sound like an absolute star. And now with my good friend Jake Painter, who was Tyler at the time, we are really taking up the world right now. And I can't wait to keep going and coming back to CCW and whatever they have for us next, because that was so much fun. And I can't wait to bring that crowd and just do everything with that promotion. I just can't wait. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah, John Bullard's doing some amazing stuff, and I know their next show is June. I'm not sure if you're booked for that, but it's going to be an incredible watch for sure, and I'm sure there'll be many more CCW shows to come. But before we let you go, Axel, a time for you to throw out your social media plugs. If you can remember where we can find you, we mentioned earlier that we've got fans all over the world that might want to reach out to you, say hi, learn more about Axel RRRRICO. Where can they actually find you on Instagram, Facebook? And I know you've got merch as well, my friend, haven't you?
Obviously the merch is on 1 Hour Tees. You can just find me, look up Axel RRRRICO, or you can just hit me up on Instagram. It's Axel RRRRICO, but there's a whole bunch of, because you got to roll the tongue when you say Rico. So there's like 4 R's and then Eco at the end of it. Same thing for Twitter. Same thing if you want to just add me on Facebook. I think after yesterday and like just promoting your show, I got like 10 Facebook requests, and I always hit accept, you know, it's because all these people coming in, if they're fans, like I said before, if they're fans of wrestling, I want to be friends with you. But yeah, socials, Axel RRRRICO, that's it. You know, there aren't a lot of Axel RRRRICOs, you know, because this one's the best. So yeah,
it is indeed.
I'm not very good at Twitter, but I'm learning. So if you want to help me out, John, Book, I put every show that I'm at on all platforms, and of course I'm actually getting new merch on the way, so I can't wait to push that on my socials and all that stuff. But yeah, social media is so much fun. It's the best way to communicate, especially during these days. Once we're back to normal, I can't wait to be hugging and you know, fist bumping all these new fans and all that stuff. So, but yeah, find me on socials, hit me up, and let's talk about wrestling, man.
Yeah, Axel RRRRICO, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you very much. I know we had a lag issues earlier on, but I think it resolved itself during the course of the interview. But you are definitely a rising star, as far as I can see, with everything I've seen from you, your character, your persona, your wrestling ability. You seem to be on so many shows at the moment that your name is going worldwide for sure. But I can't wait to see more of you in 2021 and beyond, my friend.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, man. This is, you know, Steve and JB told me so many good things about you. And when you hit me up about this, I you know, went to that opportunity like Indiana Jones stealing that gold and running with it, you know. The audience around you and what you're doing for everybody over here and all over the wrestling scene is an absolute honor to be a part of. So thank you so much for what you're doing for the wrestling scene and for little and big people like myself and all the people you have interviewing, man. You're killing it, and I love everything you do.
Excellent. Axel RRRRICO, take care, and we'll catch up again soon.